So I spent the whole year working in a corporate gym. It's called Philadelphia Sports Club. It's right outside of, well, not outside of anything. It's in Philadelphia, right outside of Center City, in this town called Society Hill. Now this gym, I told you the story already, the last video I posted like last week. I would drive like 45 minutes to go use one of the other locations because I had a basketball court, and then I had to drive another hour or so back the other direction because I had to go to my actual job because it was a different location where I worked at. The people that I worked at there were just super corporate. And the thing about corporate America is that, first of all, everybody who's any level above, like entry level, they all be thinking that they're somebody. Like, so my boss's boss was this regional manager dude, and I wrote all of this stuff. I wrote down. So if you didn't read the articles that I've written, then you need to go to dreallday.com and read those articles, because really the stuff is better in a written format than it is with me speaking about it on video, at least these particular stories. And that's why I wrote a damn book. But anyway, this dude named Brian, he was the regional manager, and Brian acted like he was somebody. He had to, because he's corporate, and in corporate, that's just the way that it goes. You got people acting like they somebodies. Everybody's kind of in this fearful position. My manager would always seem fearful. I remember I called the IT department once because my email wasn't working, and the IT dude was just being an asshole to me, so I hung up on him. I hung up on the IT guy, right? 2 minutes later, my manager, a dude named Gary, he comes into my office with this scared look on his face. He looked scared. I was like, what the hell's wrong with him? And he sat down, he was like, yo, were you just talking to IT, Dre? And I was like, yeah, I was talking to IT. He was like, did you hang up on him? And I was like, yeah. He was like, why? And I was like, this dude was being an asshole. So I just hung up on him. I'll call back, and hopefully I'll get somebody else on the line from IT, and they'll be nice. And Gary's face was like red. He was this white dude, so his face was like flush red. Like he was really worried about something happening. And he was like, and then he told me why. He was like, IT is like part of the corporate system. So if you hang up on them, it's like, basically to him, is like hanging up on one of his superiors. I didn't really give a fuck because I was an entry level membership salesperson. If they fired me, they fired me. I can get another job easily. But somebody like him in corporate America, once you move up, once you get promoted to a certain level and you move up and up and up, now it's like you're trying to protect what you got. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason why I perceived so many of those people who were like manager and above, or people above them and above them and above them, to be fearful, because you're trying to protect what you got. And once you get into that corporate America structure, and I'm not saying that this applies to everybody, but I've seen it apply to a lot of people, and I've heard a lot of people who spent a lot of years in corporate say the same thing. And once you get into it, it kind of like sucks you in. It's like you're in the matrix of corporate America, and once you get attached to whatever they paying you or whatever lifestyle has come with it, whatever way you're working and living that comes with it, you don't want to leave it, because now you got to maintain whatever you got, whatever you built up, you're trying to maintain it. So people it's like they just lived in fear when I was working in corporate. So it was always just funny just watching them, listen to the way they talk. And they would talk like they was like above the people who are entry level. Like one of my assistant managers, a dude named Will, he'd be like, man, I seen y'all salespeople. I seen them come and I watched them go. There's always new salespeople coming, always salespeople leaving. There'll be another person in your spot, a year, 2 years from now, Dre. He used to say that to me and laugh. And he would say it like he thought he was somebody because he had a management position. And I said to him, you know what? You goddamn right. There will be somebody else sitting at this desk a year from now, because I'm about to go back and hoop. I'm only working here temporarily. Your ass gonna be here. You don't even know what the hell you want to do with your life. So I just remember that year. It was less than a year that I worked there, but that time period, I had already played a couple places professionally at that point, and then I left there. That was the last job I had in Philadelphia. Then I moved to South Florida, where I've been for the last 10 plus years. And I just remember working there and just seeing those people. One reason I could never really connect with my coworkers is because it didn't seem any of them had like a plan outside of what they were doing. Even when I was working at somewhere like Bally Total Fitness, which was, I think Bally was a corporation, but it wasn't set up the way Philadelphia Sports Club was. Philadelphia Sports Club was very corporate in that we had to wear business casual clothes. At Bally, we wore sweatpants and t-shirts. At Philadelphia Sports Club, you had the regional manager come in with his suit on, and he's walking in. He was like some dude off a TV show. You ever watch some TV show where they have corporate and the manager comes in, like the boss's boss come in and he walking around like he the shit? Dude was just like that. Like he was the real life version of that. Our regional manager on work at Bally, this dude wore sweatpants, t-shirts. He walking around like he was listening to rap music. He would go work out in the gym. He was just not corporate at all. You wouldn't even know he was the boss's boss unless somebody told you. He didn't carry himself like that. So it was just a completely different energy, just the way that people carried themselves. They were so self-important. That's the funniest thing that I remember about it. And compared to who they were around all day, they had a reason to feel that way. But I always knew, back to the point that I was making, I knew that it was just a stopgap for me. I'm gonna work here for a little bit, a few months, a year at the most. Then I'm moving on. I'm about to go to another exposure camp. I'm gonna get an agent. I'm gonna get a deal. I'm gonna go play ball. And that's exactly what I did. While the rest of those people, they were just there. And I'm like, all right, what you want to do besides this? What you going to do after this? Where you moving on to after this job? They didn't have an answer. They were like, I don't know. I might just be working here until whenever that happens to be. And I didn't keep track of anybody who worked there. I know at least one guy, he stopped working there. I think one of the guys that was my boss. But the rest of them, who knows? They might still be in corporate, working for somebody, doing something that they don't really want to do. It's not even that there's something wrong working for somebody. It's just doing something that you don't really want to do with your life because you ain't have a plan. But I always had a plan, even though the plans wasn't always the best plan, not always the most sound plan, but I always had a plan. If it wasn't me doing what I wanted to do, there was a plan for me to do what I wanted to do. So that year, that's the main thing that I always remember when I think about that job, Philadelphia Sports Club. Oh yeah. All of this. I'm telling you this story because this is going around my book. It's called Work on Your Game, Using a Pro Athlete Mindset to Dominate in Business, Sports, and Life. It's coming out February 22nd. It's already the #1 new release in pro basketball, hardcover and the Kindle version. So whatever version of the book you like to read, the audio book will be ready soon. The recording is done. We did some editing. The audio book will be ready for those of you who like to listen to audio. Ain't no video book. So any of y'all who is interested in that book or interested in these stories that I'll be telling, you got to go to dreallday.com and read. As many of you probably already know, I don't even post YouTube videos like that no more. I'm doing these just because I'm doing this around the book. But once I'm done telling these stories, I might not even do videos again, all over again. I really do my podcast and my writing and the audios. That's really where most of my energy is these days. So those of you wondering why I ain't been posting videos or nothing like that, that's why. So that's what it is. Down in the video description, all the links you need for my book, all the information about my book. Again, it's coming out February 22nd. Work on you.